Alright, we're back. In today's episode, we are going to learn what a dip pen is and how to use it, and a little bit of introduction to the fine art of calligraphy. I'm Andrea Redlin, your host of the Ever After Crafter. I gotta say, I love calligraphy. I learned how to do it when I was like in 5th grade. Thanks, Miss Fisher, my art teacher. They introduced us to how to learn how to use fountain pens, dip pens when I was in 5th grade, and I fell in love. I just could not get enough. There are so many reasons it's good to learn how to use a dip pen in today's time and age. 1, you can impress your friends. 2, they're great for journaling. In fact, when I was 13, I used a lot of dip pens in my journal. This is from 1997 or 96. And I think they give journals way more character, even a little more mess, but that's where the character comes in. And there's just so much you can do with dip pens. They're fun, they're exciting, they're ergonomic, which, you know, I don't know if, like, when you use a regular pen, you know how after a while you get that pinky cramp, you know, after writing for a long time. Well, I guarantee you will not get that with a dip pen or a fountain pen. They are also fun to write letters with, like, you know, your child wants that Hogwarts letter, you know. If you've ever seen Harry Potter, you know what a quill is. This was the first type of dip pen other than the reed pen. Another thing is that ink is cheaper than buying a package of pens. You know, you buy your standard package of pens, and that's going to run you about $12 if you want a lot of them. Your average bottle of ink is going to be anywhere from probably $5 to $15 to $20, maybe. I mean, I'd say maybe the higher end ones are more like $20, but like, here's an example of your cheap bottle of ink. This is Higgins. As you can see, it's very watery, whereas you get more of, like, here's one that's kind of mid-range. It's like $6. I mean, yeah, it's still a little thinner, but not quite as bad. Now, you can find ink and dip pens. You can find these at just about any craft store in the art supplies section, or even at Walmart in the art supplies section. They're mostly going to look like this, probably your basic, like, black, like this. They're probably going to have just a standard nib. That's what these are called. They're called nibs. You're supposed to be able to remove them for easy cleaning. That one didn't go so well. But yeah, they do come out. And those are your standard dip pens. Now, for more of your fancy schmancy type of fountain pens, dip pens, you're going to see these glass ones. Now, this one is really cool. This is probably one of my favorites. The other type of glass pen I have is more for fashion more than function. This one I think is a little of both. You can usually tell if it's a decent glass pen that's going to write well if the nib is very pointy. Cinderella would be so jealous. And sometimes you'll even find, like, these really cool ones that actually have a feather attached. I like it because the feather comes out, and you can actually change out the feather if you like. I actually found this at a bookstore. I think I found it at Barnes & Noble, and it had a bottle of ink with it, which was so cute. And so let's get started. You're going to need your inks. You're going to need a pen. You're going to need a paper towel to clean the ink off. If you're a total pen snob like me, you might want an ink stand, which is what they used to put their ink in, but I'm not going to be fancy today. I'm going to be a peasant, but I just had to show that off. It's at least 100 years old. I'm very proud of it. I have no idea where it came from. So, I'm going to pick your ink. I happen to like this Private Reserve ink. It's this really awesome shade of purple, and since it's only about up to here. You can tell I have used it a lot. So, one thing I want you to know, don't think about the actual action of the writing too much, because it's just going to make it seem more complicated than it has to be. I just want you to relax and just kind of go with it. Okay, now for the actual writing. What you're going to want to do is, okay, make sure you're holding the pen the correct way, okay? Just hold it how you would any other pen, but there is one exception. I don't know if you noticed the nib is curved. Sometimes it looks like a valley, sometimes it looks like a mountain. Now, how you're going to remember how to hold your pen is this way, mountain or valley. Climb every mountain. Yes, I actually sang that. And yes, it will help you remember. I didn't sing down in the valley. So, we're going to dip the pen. You're going to wipe it off. Like that. And you may actually, I might have actually wiped it off too much. So I'm going to dip it again. Dip and wipe. Dip and wipe. Okay. And then you just remember to hold it in the mountain position. And just write like you would with any other pen. Like this. Sometimes you might have to re-dip, and this ink is a little thinner. I probably don't even have to dip it that much. Climb every mountain. And I guarantee you will not forget how to hold that pen. Like that. Okay, that was our standard pen. Now we're going to try our glass pen, because it's fun and I want to make Cinderella jealous. Glass pens are a little different. They do tend to hold a little more ink. So, I'm going to dip it again. Now these, you only have to like kind of give it like one little dip. And then, these actually write pretty smooth. And you can kind of write fast with them. Like that. Give it a little wipe, and these, I gotta say, these glass ones are the easiest to clean. So I'm gonna rinse it off with water later when you're not licking. Then we got the good old Quill Pen, which these can be tricky to use. This one's kind of old. I don't actually know where my other one is that I made a while ago. This is a real quill. I don't know where I got this feather from. Well, okay, I know it was like from sort of Settlers Festival, but I don't know what kind of feather it is. You're going to want to use like a really thick feather. And that's probably going to be a whole nother video, how to make a quill. But these do kind of make interesting like lines and stuff. And a nice scratching sound. Follow every rainbow till you find your dream. I love rainbows, they're so pretty. Look, every rainbow. Oops. This is what happens when you try to sing and film a video at the same time. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to use this bad boy. This is the Calligraphy Tip Pen. And I love this guy. This one is pretty awesome. Okie dokie. I think I'm going to switch ink colors too, because I'm getting bored with this purple one. I'm so ink fickle. I'm going to use this ink. This is my homemade black walnut ink, which the term black walnut is deceiving for two reasons. One, the outer husks, which are used to make the ink, are lime green. And two, the ink is brown. So, see how this stuff held up. It's a very rich brown. This stuff will stain everything, so be careful. One thing I've noticed, which is kind of cool about this black walnut ink, is it actually writes on fabric, believe it or not. So, Now with calligraphy pens, with a calligraphy one, you still want to hold it in that mountain pose, but this is where some of the technicality stuff really comes in. You're going to want to hold it at a 45-degree angle, and when you pull down into a southwest movement, you're going to get thin lines. That's what you want. Now when you pull down in a southeast motion, you're going to want your thick lines. And that's how you know you're holding your pen right. I do have a friend who is left-handed, so as soon as I teach her how to do calligraphy, we're going to try to figure out the lefty way together. I will be posting a left-handed video on how to do left-handed calligraphy. In fact, it was she who requested that I do a calligraphy video. Now, one thing you want to do is, you can work on lined paper, but you want to do 5 marks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that seemed totally pointless, but it does serve a function, I promise. What this does is it tells you, no matter what size or what width of nib you have, it's going to tell you exactly how tall your capital letters need to be in lowercase. So, you are working basically between these lines, and that is how tall you want your letters to be to start. Now, for like the letter A, you want to go down and then pull southeast, and then like that. It's actually probably easier here. Pull south. You're basically using these pens to pull. You're not really pushing up much. You're basically going to be pulling. So, down southwest, pull down southeast, and then pull straight across, and then do a little flourish because it looks so cute. And then one thing I want you to focus on, don't get so caught up in trying to learn a specific alphabet right away. I just want you to play with the pens and find out, and just do the letters the way you want to do them. I mean, for years, I was always taught that this was how you made a cursive capital A. I don't do it like that. I don't like it. It looks wimpy because it looks just like a lowercase a. This is how I do my capital letter A. I make it look like that, just because I want to. I also don't make my Q's like this. I make them look like this, because I want to. So, I want you to focus on just making the letters the way you want to. The thing I want you to remember is just, remember you're mostly pulling. You're not pushing too much. So whatever letters you want to make, you make them the way you want to make them. And I want you to have fun with this. There's so much you can do with a fountain pen, with a dip pen. If you're an artist, look at all these beautiful lines you can make. I use this swirly design like all the time, and it's funny because I actually see it like in home decor items, and I've been using this design for years. In fact, I once did an entire wall like this. And there's just so much you can do that doesn't even require you to be an artist. You can do like party invitations. See, look at this. I'm just going to print the word invitation right here. INVITATION. Look how this pen, the thick nib just changes my handwriting. I don't even have to try. I mean, I don't even have to do anything fancy. I just write, and it changes it automatically, which I think is pretty darn cool. And I'm running out of space. And that's another thing I kind of like about Bristol board. It doesn't bleed through. The only reason this bled through is because I was writing on the other side. But like, now for cursive, which is really fun, you can, all you do is just remember to keep that 45-degree angle. Don't worry about the size of your letters too much. You do you. Now, if you use a pen that has like a nib that's about half the width of this, you can do some really awesome cursive, like in like standard writing sizes, like, you know, in a journal or a letter or things like that. A lot of artists use these pens for their pen and ink drawings. They're very fluid. They're easier to clean than a brush. But I really like it because of my, you know, the ability to put, you know, make my journals look more interesting. I can write letters like this. People think it's really cool. Like I said, ink is cheaper. A bottle of ink is cheaper than, you know, buying packages of pens. There's so many fun colors to choose from, which you will see in the gallery.